First, it is opening day for Major League Baseball, and Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani is set to make his home debut amid a scandal involving his former interpreter. Ippei Mizuhara was fired last week and accused of stealing millions from Ohtani to pay off gambling debts. ABC's Brad Mielke, host of the Start Here podcast, joins me now for more. Brad, this all broke as the Dodgers opened their season in South Korea last week. But there's been a lot of back and forth. Mizuhara first claimed Ohtani helped him agreed to help him pay off these gambling debts. Then he walked back that claim. There have been a number of other incidents where his story has changed a bit. What's the latest?
Yeah, and all this coming, as you said, the Dodgers start their season as Ohtani begins the most lucrative contract in baseball history. So the latest information from Ohtani came at this big press conference earlier in the week where he said categorically he's never bet on sports, he's especially never bet on baseball, and he knew nothing about this before it broke. But what's been strange here is, like you said, how many versions of the story have come from Ohtani's camp itself? So initially, Ohtani's camp, when they were asked about possible gambling, said he's never had anything to do with any gambling organization of any kind. Well, the issue here is that this whole story stems from a federal investigation into this illegal bookmaker in California. And guess what? The feds appear to have found wire transfers from Ohtani's bank account. So the next story from Ohtani's camp was that Ohtani was kind of generously paying off the debts for his interpreter. There's a problem with that. This is an illegal sports book. I mean, sports betting is not legal in California right now. So just to have Ohtani paying the debts to this illegal outfit might be considered an issue. Well, then Ohtani's lawyers came in with a new statement. And in this statement, they said, actually, no, he never knew anything about this. Mizuhara, his interpreter, had been stealing money from him for years in the amount of $4.5 million, making $500,000 payments at a time, grabbing them from Ohtani's bank account to pay off his gambling addiction, effectively. But that raised the question, how does your interpreter have access to your bank account? So a lot more questions still to be answered.
Now, Mizuhara was more than just an interpreter for Ohtani. He worked as a trainer, an assistant. I mean, he almost never left his side. So what more are you learning about their relationship?
Yeah, well, full disclosure, I'm a big fan of the Angels, Ohtani's old team. So I've watched these guys over the last several years, like every single day. And it's true, you never saw Ohtani without Ippei Mizuhara by his side. He was his trainer. He was stretching him on the field. He was giving him scouting reports. So, I mean, this did go far beyond the regular sort of interpreter who shows up to your press conferences. So it's not inconceivable that Mizuhara would, sort of almost as his personal secretary, would have access to sort of Ohtani's personal life more than most people. However, when you're Ohtani, you got to think that, like, these are wire transfers. Generally, with amounts this large, banks, we've been told, will come back to the account holder and be like, you're sure, right? We're making sure we have this sign off from you. If Ohtani, as like a young, millionaire, isn't focused on his bank accounts, fine. But you think that then he would have financial officers and people like that, even more layers for Ippei Mizuhara to get through, to steal this money. So these are the questions that baseball fans are all asking. And instead of getting answers, reporters were not able to ask questions in this press conference. They only got this pre-prepared statement.
Now, some have speculated that Mizuhara could be taking the fall for Ohtani here. Ohtani says this is about theft, that he has never been involved in any kind of gambling or never bet on any sport, at least. What questions do you think still are left to be answered here, or the big ones?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be about access to the bank accounts. I think that's a big thing. Also, whether Shohei Ohtani ever had any sort of penchant for gambling in his life, he says absolutely not. But he's such a private person that, like, his own teammates didn't know he was dating until a few weeks ago when he announced that he had married someone. Like, this is the level of secrecy that this guy has. Literally, like, the team said, the team, not even just his teammates, the team itself said, we didn't know he had been in a relationship before all of a sudden he says, I'm married. When he says who he got married to, he's like, it's a normal Japanese woman. No one, I don't want to out her. Turned out she was a professional basketball player. Like, the level of secrecy surrounding him has always been very intense, which for baseball fans has been okay. Right? Like, people have treated him differently because he is different and they haven't asked many questions. Well, now, that is all sometimes predicated on the idea that this person is who you think he is.
Right.
Now, you wonder if there's a level of distrust with baseball fans who are asking, are you for real?
So what does this mean given the timing here? Opening day is today. The season is now getting underway. This private person is no longer a private person. Right. So what happens now?
And he's the face of baseball, and that's a problem for Major League Baseball right now, because baseball cares about sports betting, right? Like, we remember a century ago, a World Series was rigged by professional gamblers. Pete Rose is still banned for life from the sport because of gambling on baseball. The idea that the face of the sport, the most prolific hitter and also a star pitcher in recent years, could be involved in sports betting on any level is untenable for Major League Baseball. That's why they've created an investigation alongside the federal investigation into this illegal sports book. So they say they're taking this seriously, but you got to remember, sports betting in this country has never been more popular. So that's going to be an issue for baseball, for sports media, who are all kind of trumpeting the idea that sports betting should be more involved in the sports landscape, but at the same time saying, but there's no gambling in our establishment. That's the line they are trying to draw, and that's what's going to make things so complicated.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.